Ever since it was reported that the US Air Force had recovered a flying disc from a ranch near Roswell in 1947, the relationship between UFOs and the military has been inextricably linked. With thousands of UFO sightings reported close to warships, nuclear installations, and air bases. One of the most famous in the UK was recorded in December 1980, close to RAF Woodbridge in Rendlesham Forest, Suffolk.
It's coming this way. It's definitely coming this way. Chances of it are shutting off. There's no doubt about it. This is weird.
But despite mountains of evidence and eyewitness reports, for decades the military have remained silent and believers ridiculed. But the events that took place during a US Navy training exercise on the 14th of November 2004 changed everything. It was a clear autumn afternoon, 100 miles off the coast of San Diego. Multiple vessels, including the USS Nimitz and missile cruiser USS Princeton, were involved in a routine military drill. But things were about to take an extraordinary turn. At 2 p.m., 2 Super Hornet fighter pilots received a highly unusual order. They were instructed to stop training and prepare for a real-world task. Their mission: to intercept an immediate unidentified aerial threat. Nothing could have prepared the experienced pilots for what happened next. Arriving on scene, lead pilot Commander David Fravor saw something shocking.
Well, if there's anything.
An area of white water, shimmering and bubbling over what seemed to be a large submerged object. Then the pilots noticed a small, strange craft moving above the breaking waves. Around 12 meters in length, white, smooth, and oval shaped like a Tic Tac.
My gosh. Look at that thing, dude.
Commander Fravor immediately locked onto the object, and these are the actual images captured on his infrared camera. The bizarre craft performed a series of high-velocity accelerations, darting from 50,000 feet to sea level and back again, executing a series of twists and turns with pinpoint accuracy. With no visible means of propulsion, the jaw-dropping maneuvers defied all laws of physics.
My gosh. Look at that thing, dude.
In April 2020, the Pentagon took the extraordinary step of confirming the authenticity of this footage.
For the first time, it's official. UFOs, whatever they are, they're real.
You have the recognition by the US government that UAPs are real, whatever they are. Is that a threat? We still have no clue of the intent.
The question is, after years of silence, why are governments making disclosures now? And if it's taken them this long to confirm a single sighting, what else might they be hiding from us? Sarah, they capture this craft in the sky, breaking all the rules of flight, acting like no aircraft has ever acted before. And the Pentagon came out in 2020 and they verified the pictures as being taken by the Navy.
Well, I've heard of this case. This is one of the most compelling UFO cases of all time, if not the most compelling, but it hasn't yet been solved.
Let's have a look at this video. You'll see why I'm so interested. Could we run it again? Look at this.
It's certainly unusual.
It's traveling a fair lick. Look at the shape of it. Then it stops. It changes direction really quite severely.
I don't think it's changing directions. It doesn't. Okay,
it
yes.
just changed directions there. That is an unidentified flying object.
I knew you were going to say that. It's certainly unexplained.
You see, I think that is mind-boggling. I don't know what that is.
I agree.
Okay, so how do we move this case forward?
We need to speak to someone who can give us more information, and that person is Nick Pope, former MOD investigator and UFO expert.
Having worked at the UK Ministry of Defence, Nick is uniquely placed to be able to comment on military sightings like these, and why the Pentagon finally broke cover. We're investigating the Tic Tac incident. What can you tell us about it all?
Well, I think the most fundamental point about all of this is that this is official US Navy footage. We've always known that pilots have seen UFOs, but usually governments deny this sort of thing. Now, the Pentagon has confirmed that this footage is real, and some of the pilots and indeed radar operators have spoken out. So, for the first time, UFOs, whatever they are, they're real.
Why do you think the Pentagon have suddenly become so free with their information?
Well, part of it might be that it's got to the point where it's undeniable. I think this has built up a sort of critical mass where there's just so much evidence that you can't keep it hidden anymore. But yeah, even the US government has not ruled out the extraterrestrial hypothesis.
But surely the most obvious explanation is it's just military technology, and if this was aliens, they would let it be known. They wouldn't just be speaking to the government.
No, that's true, sure. And that's certainly one of the theories that is being discussed right now. The Senate Intelligence Committee are asking themselves, could it be that this is one part of the US government testing something against the US fleet, and it's so highly classified and so deeply compartmentalized, or worse, as far as the US government is concerned, could it be that an adversary has made some technological breakthrough? I guess the simplest theory, the one that needs fewest leaps of faith, is usually the correct one. So that's got to be our start point.
That craft is skimming, it looks like it's skimming along the ocean, going in and out and in and out and in and out. Now, if that is an enemy power's weapon, then we're in trouble, aren't we?
Yes, we're in big trouble. To me, as somebody with a defense background, it doesn't matter if it's Russian or Martian. We need to know what it is.
Nick, in addition to the Tic Tac incident we've seen, is it true that there's thousands, if not hundreds, of video clips, there's sightings and pictures of alien craft?
Where you've got something that was taken from a military aircraft with forward-looking infrared cameras or whatever, it's authentic. So yeah, what we're looking at now, what we're reading about in the media, is the tip of the iceberg.
There you go. Those pilots saw something very unusual up in that sky.
But they don't know what it is. There is more stuff going on than we know about.
Where do you think we should go next?
Well, the thing is, every time someone's tried to solve this case, they've spoken to the same people. So the best thing we can do, Craig, is speak to a new witness and try and get a new account about this. We need to dig deeper.
In November 2004, during a routine naval training exercise, American fighter planes from the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier engaged with a UFO over the Pacific Ocean.
My gosh. Look at that thing, dude.
Dubbed the Tic Tac because of the UFO's appearance, it's become one of the most high-profile cases of the 21st century.
Well, if there's look at that thing.
This still inexplicable encounter was captured on a US Navy fighter jet's infrared cockpit camera. With the weight of the US Navy's official stamp of approval, these jaw-dropping encounters have changed everything we thought we knew about UFOs.
Look at it fly.
So, Sarah, we're looking at a case from 2004 when two Navy pilots flying off the USS Nimitz caught the now infamous Tic Tac UFO on cockpit cameras, flying in a way that no human-designed aircraft possibly could. And it was declared legitimate by the Pentagon. So how do we move this case forward?
Well, the thing is, every time someone's tried to solve this case, they've spoken to the same people. So the best thing we can do, Craig, is speak to someone else. Speak to a new witness and try and get a new account about this. So I've got here Jason Turner. He was aboard the USS Princeton, which is alongside the Nimitz in 2004.
Hi, Jason. Craig and Sarah here. How are you?
Good, guys. How are you?
US Navy Petty Officer Jason Turner was on active duty on the missile cruiser USS Princeton when radar technicians noticed ghost tracks of mysterious objects appearing on their radar screen over an entire week. Their speed so impossible, it prompted a full recalibration of the radar equipment to see if it had somehow developed a fault. But still the objects continued to appear. This is the rarely told background event that prompted the scrambling of fighter jets to intercept the Tic Tac, which appears to be just one of a fleet. And when the footage landed back on deck, Jason became an unwitting, crucial witness, and he's prepared to share his story with us.
Actually, we really didn't know much about it. It was pretty much kept on lockdown for, I don't know, 2 days. So yeah, I had traveled up to the ship signal exploitation space and was going to take some parts there, and saw a video playing of basically what we had been, the chatter around the ship had been about was a UFO.
How many people were watching with you, Jason? And did the guys with the guns see what were going on?
You have to remember there are over 4,000 people on the carrier, and we had at least 400 people on our ship, and then there were 2 more ships in the battle group that were participating at this time. So there were quite a lot of eyes on this thing.
Can you describe what you saw? Because we see these radar images, we see these camera images, but what did you see firsthand?
So the video that you see now is a lot more grainy. It's worse than it was back in 2004. Initially, you could see the object. It had no identifying marks. It had no wings. It had no propulsion system, but it did have 2 what looked like antennae that were sticking out of the bottom of it. Beyond that, there was really not much to describe on what it looked like other than a Tic Tac.
And how was it moving? Was it moving really erratically?
And not initially on the video, it wasn't. And then it would move it would go from point A to point B, no acceleration, no deceleration, and just excel and stop.
Well, aircraft designed by humans don't do that, do they?
No.
And does it concern you that we don't know what this is?
It does, because if it's someone else's technology and we don't understand it, we're behind the 8 ball.
The fact that you would be able to witness this means that there's definitely a scare on board if people are like looking at it closely in front of people that maybe shouldn't have been seeing what's going on.
You know, it was just happenstance that I was there. I was one of the lucky ones who got to see it and kind of went under the radar. No pun intended.
We've only seen a very short, grainy snippet of this Tic Tac. How long was the original video, the much clearer video that you saw?
So yeah, the original video was about 7 to 10 minutes. And it looped once while I was in there. It was on a loop.
Wow, so we've only seen a very small bit of that. Did anything happen in the bits that we haven't seen that were surprising?
Yeah, just the way that the Tic Tac actually maneuvered, you don't get to see the full detail in the video that's been released.
If we saw the full video, would we be more scared?
Well, the Department of Defense had recently come out after people had done open record requests, and they admitted that there is more video, but they're not going to release it due to national security.
Do you have any idea what it is that you saw?
No, but I would like to get answers to it. I think we all would. And you know, if it's not our technology, if it's not from this world, then we've got a lot of learning to do.
Jason and others close to the incident have risked their reputation for the truth. But the Tic Tac sighting in 2004 was only the beginning of the story. 10 years later,
My gosh.
it happened again.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the SA. Oh my gosh, dude.
Between 2014 and 2015, radar operators on the USS Theodore Roosevelt reported numerous, sometimes daily, inexplicable blips on the radar, leading seasoned US Navy pilots to a series of close encounters with seemingly impossible flying objects. 2 of these mysterious UFOs were captured on the pilot's cockpit cameras, clips that have become known as Go Fast
Roger.
and Gimbal.
Look at that thing. It's rotating.
Just like the Tic Tac, these craft also had no visible means of propulsion and appeared to perform movements that defy all known physics. In 2014 and 2015, they caught them at it again. Let's have a look at these cockpit pictures. Look at this. A Tic Tac again. 10 years later, opposite coast, East Coast.
My gosh.
What do you think that is?
I can't explain it, Craig. I don't know what it is. But it is technically an unidentified flying object.
Look at that thing, dude. It's rotating.
See the way it changed shape there? It almost became a disc for a minute. Okay, let's look at the other one. Oh, look at that one.
That is going so fast. It's going into the water.
Wow. In 2004, 2014, and 2015, US Navy fighter jets flying off aircraft carriers, USS Nimitz and USS Theodore Roosevelt, engaged with UFOs above the ocean, close to the United States coastline.
My gosh. Look at that thing, dude.
The images captured were officially released by the Pentagon in 2020.
Look at that thing. It's rotating.
These extraordinary encounters have heralded a sea change in how UFOs are perceived and talked about by the authorities. But the question remains, are these craft inconceivably advanced enemy technology, or are they from another world? We've heard firsthand from experts and witnesses how the most sophisticated air force in the world can be outmaneuvered by UFOs.
It's going into the water.
It's like someone has thrown a pebble like that, it's skimming it across.
You can't get a concept of size because there's nothing else. You've just got the ocean to compare it to.
Yeah, but look at the speed that's traveling. A proper rate of knots, that. So that is very strange.
It's freaky, isn't it? As a scientist, I want to be able to explain this, but I can't offer that explanation.
And the story doesn't end here. A further US Navy video has been obtained and released by investigative filmmaker Jeremy Corbell. and appears to show at least one pyramid-shaped craft hovering close to US Navy ships, including destroyer USS Russell, in July 2019.
This is explosive information. This is probably the best UFO military filmed footage, certainly that I've ever seen, but I think also that the world has ever seen. There were a number of anomalous contacts, or what they call UAPs or UFOs, that swarmed these carriers. So what you're seeing is some of what I obtained and released is some of that footage. These are genuine unknowns.
The Pentagon have confirmed that this is now genuine footage, and this is a flying pyramid. Look, see, you can see it's a pyramid shape. It might be a completely different shape to Tic Tac, but it was filmed in the same geographical location, in the Pacific Ocean, off the coast of San Diego.
It's certainly interesting, but what I do find even more interesting is the fact that we've now got multiple videos which have been verified by the Pentagon.
Okay, so it means that there are lots of unidentified flying objects in our skies. Something remarkable is happening. We appear to have an organised leaking campaign of videos of UFOs and official statements from the Pentagon confirming their authenticity.
It's rotated.
Are we being prepared for the truth that extraterrestrials have long been visiting Earth? Or could this be a strategic agenda to remove the taboo around such sightings and encourage more open reporting of UFOs to the authorities?
David, that is the weirdest thing.
Is that?
The one person closest to understanding the military strategy towards UFO sightings is ex-MOD official Nick Pope. We need to speak to him again. Nick, the pace of the sightings seems to be speeding up.
Yeah, it seems at the moment hardly a week goes by without someone else coming forward, whether it's a pilot, a radar operator, whether it's more photos and videos. And again, the US government has confirmed, yes, all this was taken by US Navy military personnel. So again, it's official.
Is that just because we're better at finding them now, or has this been going on since time immemorial?
I think that there's a lot of political pressure now in the United States. The Senate Intelligence Committee has demanded a report on this from the Director of National Intelligence. I mean, once you start looking at this, I think even within government, you realize, hey, wait a minute, we've been missing a trick all these years. There is something here. It's a defense and national security issue. We should be taking it seriously. And that, thank goodness, is now happening.
Nick, in addition to the clips we've seen, is it true that there's thousands, if not hundreds, of video clips and sightings and pictures of alien craft?
Yes. I mean, when the US government started looking into this seriously in the last decade or so through a program called AATIP, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, the contractor for that project amassed a huge archive of historical material. They would have had and considered photographs, videos, satellite imagery, space tracking, radar data, all sorts of stuff.
But we know there's more videos out there which haven't been released. Do you think the government's holding things back?
I think they're still hiding a lot. But I think the vast majority still is being kept within government. Maybe because they can't figure it out, maybe because they think they can derive some novel military technologies from figuring out what we are dealing with. But for whatever reason, I think what we see, That's probably 1 in 1,000 of what's out there.
Stick with me on this one, Nick. Stick with me. Okay, don't lose me now. You know, could something like be happening in some part of the universe and people are running away from it and they're coming here as a place of safety? Because these ships are coming in various sizes. They could be coming from all over the universe, surely.
Yes, that's an interesting idea. I must say, the idea, I mean, some scientists who've thought about this have used the phrase super predator species to suggest that there might be terrifying things out there in the cosmos. And yeah, absolutely, in the face of a super predator species, whether it's biological or, as many people believe, post-biological, machine intelligence, hunting down perhaps other intelligences ruthlessly, what you would need, what you would want would be a place of safety, a haven. So that's a fascinating thought, the idea they might be coming here almost as refugees.
And now you're frightening me.
We should be frightened. Or at the least we should be concerned. I mean, look at what Stephen Hawking warned about in terms of contact with extraterrestrials, and he used that analogy that if we look to our own history, where less advanced civilizations have been visited by more advanced ones, the very existence sometimes of the less advanced ones is under threat. So yeah, we should be worried.
Well, there you go. There's people keeping secrets. There's a lot that we don't know. There's a lot we're not being told. Where do we go next?
Well, we need to try and find someone from AATIP. Now, I know about this organisation. It's the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. This was a 5-year secret program in the US, but it wasn't classified, yet nobody knew about it.
Sounds secret enough to me.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense, but we need to try and find someone from AATIP to speak to because we don't know what's going on in our skies.
The Pentagon videos and subsequent statement suggest we are living in a world where the military of one of the most powerful countries on Earth is admitting to unknown objects flying around in our skies. With more and more evidence from the US military being leaked into the public domain, the US government has been forced to produce an unclassified, in-depth intelligence report on the phenomenon and establish a UAP task force. It's impossible not to question what's really going on and ask, are we in danger?
We should be worried. To me, as somebody with a defense background, it doesn't matter if it's Russian or Martian. We need to know what it is.
We're on a mission to get to the truth about these mysterious craft that appear to be prowling our skies. Well, Sarah, this started out as a simple investigation. This has got so much bigger. We started out looking at the Tic Tac incident in 2004, and then we got to Go Fast and Gimbal in 2015. We've seen some amazing footage of what we both agree are inexplicable flying crafts. We need to know, is there a threat to life?
Well, we don't know that much yet, but someone who can give us a unique insight into this is Luis Elizondo. He's the former head of AATIP, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, which was this shadowy organisation within the US government.
Listen, can you tell us a bit about your work at AATIP?
I was part of a very interesting and nuanced program within the United States Department of Defense and the intelligence community. And it was a nuanced effort within the Pentagon that was focused on looking at what we call UAPs, or I guess in the vernacular, UFOs.
And what did you discover?
Well, we discovered a lot. First of all, we discovered that there is absolutely something in our skies. It's something that has the ability to fly within controlled U.S. airspace, and frankly, in some cases, displays capabilities beyond those capabilities we have currently within the United States.
Have the American government, have they released all the tapes they've got? Have they released all the pictures, all the videos?
No, not hardly, no. But that's up to the government to decide when and where and if they want to do that. I'm going to respect my non-disclosure agreement.
So you're telling us you know more about this than you're able to tell us?
What I'm saying is that I'm quite confident that the government is aware of more data than just the video.
I suppose the big question is, are these crafts human or are they extraterrestrial?
Can it be from Earth? Yes. Can it be from elsewhere, outer space? Yes. We still have no idea if this is something that some sort of foreign adversary has managed to strategically leapfrog ahead of us, or if we're dealing with something completely and totally different. What we know is that these things are real. There is something in our controlled U.S. airspace that we don't know what it is, we don't know how it works, we don't know what its intentions are, and really at this point, there's not a whole lot we can do about it.
What kind of threat do you think these craft are to our world security?
My position is that it could be a threat if it wanted to be, so we should probably try to figure it out. We still have no clue of the intent.
Are we ever going to know the truth?
Well, I think we're on that journey right now, Sarah. And as long as we let the government and our elected officials know that this is a topic worth discussing, at least having the conversation, then I think the answer is a resounding yes. You have the establishment of a UAP task force under our Secretary of Defense, and you also have a 180-day report that is due to Congress from the Director of National Intelligence. Last but not least, you have the recognition that the videos taken by Navy personnel is indeed legitimate.
Since you left your organization, have you been intimidated at all? Have you felt scared? Have there been any dark, shadowy forces telling you to keep your mouth shut?
Have people attempted to intimidate me? Absolutely. That continues to occur. There's a lot of people that are pretty upset with me when I left the government and decided to have this conversation. It hasn't been very easy for me personally to continue to pursue this. Anytime you step out of ranks in an organization like mine, there's obviously going to be some repercussions. People needed to know the truth.
Well, what do you make of that?
That was certainly powerful. It's quite disturbing, some of the things he was talking about, how he has been threatened.
And when I asked him, I said, have we got any more tapes, any more videos, any more films? He just went, oh, yes. Things are definitely being covered up.
But what are they covering up? That's the question. Is it alien technology? Are the governments really colluding with an extraterrestrial species? Or is it just something else, something that we haven't thought of yet?
This is without doubt a most extraordinary and significant UFO investigation. This isn't speculation. We're now in a world where UFOs exist and US intelligence agencies are preparing a report to Congress on what they know about them. The question is, are they from this world or another?
I feel like we're getting closer and closer and closer.
So before we draw a conclusion and reach our verdict, let's look at those videos again. So this is the Tic Tac incident, 2004. I think we can safely say it's not a plane, but we can't really say what it is. It's just weird. It is Tic Tac shaped, and it kind of changes direction very, very, very peculiarly, almost at right angles. No earthly aircraft can do that.
No, I agree. We cannot explain what is in this video. And nor can anyone else. That's what's so intriguing about this.
So let's move on to the Go Fast incident. Now this is the one where it's like skimming across the water.
It's in the air. It almost enters into the water.
Yeah.
USO, unidentified submerged object, and then it accelerates at such a huge rate.
Yeah.
So it's now going at an impossible speed.
And let's go for the gimbal. Looks like a Tic Tac again, really. It's that sort of oval shape.
This is incredible, this one.
It's traveling very fast.
You're almost speechless when you're watching something like this.
These are in our night skies. This is just, it's just quite scary, really. And oh, breaking news. While we've been recording this series, another bombshell. Yet another US Navy video obtained and released by investigative filmmaker Jeremy Corbell. Here we go. This mind-blowing UFO was filmed by crew aboard the USS Omaha back in July 15, 2019, and it's just dropped online. It shows a bizarre black spherical object crossing the sky, with striking similarity to the Tic Tac encounters. But then, shockingly, it descends towards the ocean's surface and appears to submerge.
What was splashed? Splashed. Mark bearing and range.
No wreckage was found, and no craft recovered. If it did enter the water, as other UFOs have been seen to do, like go fast, it disappeared from sight soon afterwards.
It's going into the water.
And like this astonishing UFO, filmed by a US customs plane in Puerto Rico in April 2013, it also dips into the ocean before briefly re-emerging and then vanishing. It suggests they're moving with ease between our atmosphere and our ocean.
Gravitationally propelled craft that are transmedium, and they can go from space to air to sea without destruction. This is astonishing capabilities. What are these things in the sky that outpace, outmaneuver, and completely defy what we understand as propulsion? This is now a new reality that we are living in. And it doesn't matter if we bury our heads in the sand, it doesn't cease to exist. UFOs are real. The UFO presence is real. What are these things? We deserve some answers, whatever those may be.
And if these craft are intergalactic refugees searching for a safe haven, what a perfect place to hide. But now it's time to decide once and for all whether these UFOs are extraterrestrial or not. What's your verdict?
When we first spoke about this, I was kind of skeptical. I knew how enthusiastic you were about this, but I almost owe you an apology with this one, Craig. Because the evidence we've seen today is hugely compelling. It's hugely convincing. We can't explain any of these videos. We do not know what is going on in our skies. And in that case, I'm going to say investigation ongoing.
Well, I'm going to go a little further. I'm not saying that this is a sign of aliens.
But
I'm not sure they're manned by any living body. They could be robots, they could be drones, they could be advanced probes. I'm going to have to say that whatever they are, they're not of this world. On the 25th of June, 2021, the United States Office of the Director of National Intelligence released its preliminary report on unidentified aerial phenomena to Congress. Although it posited a range of plausible explanations, the majority of the 144 major UFO sightings officially investigated, ranging from covert military aircraft and airborne clutter to abnormal weather phenomena, it was only able to confirm one as being definitely man-made. For the remaining 143, which include Tic Tac, Gimbal, Go Fast, and Pyramid, an extraterrestrial explanation could not be ruled out.